Have you ever caught yourself, just scrolling through your phone without even thinking about it, or ever wonder why a game or app just feels so addictive? Well, today we're going to break down how digital games and apps are tapped into our inner drives and motivations and why it really matters for our well being. So let's get into it. So I'm going to speak more about this later, but just to give a pre context, we're going to talk about these 8 drives. And these are epic meaning, accomplishment, creativity, ownership, social influence, scarcity, unpredictability, and loss. And these are all at play every time we interact with any type of digital content because, apps and games are designed to tap into these drives to keep you engaged. And the key is to recognize which drives are pulling you in and ask yourself, are they really adding to my life, or are they just making me feel more stressed and have anxiety about what's going on in the digital landscape? So as we know, our world is super digital. There are smartphones, we got social media and nonstop notifications, and every ping or like gives us a tiny burst of excitement. And it sounds cool, right? But when it happens over and over and over again, it can leave us feeling drained and just stressed out. And that's like having a car that never stopped at a gas station. Now, I'm not talking about your EVs. I'm talking about your regular gasoline car. Eventually it'd run out of fuel. And that's kind of what happens to our brains whenever we're bombarded with all these digital signals and things all day, which can make us feel burnt out or just overwhelmed. So why do we keep letting it happen? Well, let's go ahead and dive into something really cool, which I touched on earlier, and it's understanding what drives us, especially when we're online. And there's this model called the anaylze framework, and it was created by Yukai Chow. I was reading about him when I was reading a book by Jeff Booth called The Price of Tomorrow. And it was really insightful because it breaks down our motivations in just the 8 core drives, in which I mentioned. And these drives are everywhere, from games to apps, social media, and knowing about them can help you understand why you're drawn to certain digital experiences. So let's go ahead and break them down one by one. The first one being epic meaning and calling. And this drive is just about how you're feeling like you're part of something bigger than yourself. Like you ever joined a club or a fraternity, sorority, or a support a cause because you felt like you were making a difference. Well, digital platforms can tap into this by giving you missions or challenges to make you feel special, especially when you hear other people talking about them online and you're like, oh, I need to hop on this as well. So like you've been chosen for a specific purpose. For example, some apps have community challenges where everybody works together to solve a problem or whatever, or even like a Reddit thread where it's like you're trying to help somebody and it makes you feel like your contribution really matters. The next thing is accomplishment and development. So we all love progress, right? So whether it's leveling up in a game or earning badges on an app or anything like that, this drive keeps us pushed to keep improving. Every time you see your score go up or you unlock a new achievement, it gives you a little hit of pride, like, yeah, I just did that. I just passed that or did whatever. But you also have to remember, with these wins that do feel awesome, they also should add value into your real life. So you're not always, focused just on the numbers and stuff like that. Try to figure out how you can pull that into your real life too. The next thing is the third principle is empowerment of creativity and feedback. So this one is about the freedom to create and see the results instantly. So think about your drawing apps, think about your music making tools, your artificial intelligence, or even making a post on social media. Whenever you create something and you get immediate feedback from people, whether it's likes or shares or comments, it makes you feel in control and it sparks your creativity. It's a fun way to learn and grow, but it's also important to balance it with offline creativity too, figuring out how you can get that sense of creativity while always having to share things with people online. Number 4 is ownership and possession. We all felt, have you ever felt like super attached to that custom avatar or virtual item in the game or getting that blue check or something like that, on social media? That's this drive at work. We love owning things that makes us feel special and unique, and apps let you collect items. It lets you customize your profiles and build your own digital space, making you more invested in these applications. And it's cool when it adds to your personality, but it can also make you feel pressure to show off or just, have some comparison in your life when it comes to other people owning things that you want or you owning things that other people want and vice versa. The next, or number 5, is social influence and relatedness. And this is something that you probably experience every single day because we all crave connections, whether that's likes, comments, shares, the yada, yada, yada. And this gives us a sense of belonging, whether it's on Instagram, on TikTok, Snapchat, YouTube, wherever it could be. It gives us social validation to make us seem valued and seen. But if we rely too much on these online affirmations, it might just affect our self-worth. So it's a good habit to try to keep a healthy balance between these, where it's like you're not determining all your worth based on how people view you online, because some people don't care about being online and stuff like that. It's about how my friends and how my family and the people actually close to me view me and feel about me. Is how I reflect and feel about myself, you know? So number 6, the next one is scarcity and patience. So have you ever rushed to grab a limited pair of sneakers, or you check your phone because you knew a deal was ending soon on a website with something you wanted? Well, scarcity makes us feel extra valuable, you know? And online, this can be as seen like limited time offers or exclusive content that creates a sense of urgency. And while it's exciting, it's also a reminder to not let FOMO or the fear of missing out push you into stress, because you don't want to be stressed out about some type of scarcity thing and stuff like that. I know people feel like this when they hear when they talk about Bitcoin and stuff like that. You're like, oh, you got to hurry up and get it. But it's like people are scared and they don't know what to do, really. The next thing, number 7, is unpredictability and curiosity. And this drive is all about the thrill of not knowing what's coming next. And I can say I'm a victim of it too. So think about when you're binge watching a series, or you in that episode you just watched, it leaves you wanting more and more, or that game that just came with a bonus round to help you get some more achievements or something like that. This element of surprise keeps your brains engaged, and it's fun. But sometimes it can also make us overindulge in digital content because we just can't wait for the next surprise. That's why you might be binge watching a series and it might be 8 p.m. and you look up at the clock and it's 2 o'clock in the morning. You're like, dang, what happened? Why am I keep watching this? How did I get here? It's because you were just waiting for the next thing to keep happening, because they keep hitting you with the element of surprise and that curiosity as well. So the 8th and final thing we can talk about is loss and avoidance. So finally, it's the fear of missing out on something or losing something valuable. And this is why you might want to keep checking your notifications or stay in the game longer than you plan, because you don't want to miss an update or you don't want to lose your progress, right? And a little bit of this drive can motivate you, but too much of it can lead to anxiety or burnout. So like I said before, these 8 drives: epic meaning, accomplishment, creativity, ownership, social influence, scarcity, unpredictability, ability, and loss are at play every time you interact with digital content. And apps and games are designed to make you feel these ways by tapping into these things to get you engaged. And they do it really smart with these algorithms, and they make it tailored to each and every person, for real. So the key is to recognize which drives are pulling you in and ask yourself, are they really adding to my life, or are they just making me feel more stressed? So take a second to reflect on your own habits. Maybe you notice that you're chasing likes for that burst of validation, or perhaps you're getting hooked on leveling up in the game, because understanding these motivations is the first step in taking control. And whether you know it or not, it's what's driving you. And you can decide whether it's time to hit pause, take a step back, and refuel, just like we talk about here at Stop and Refuel. So let's go ahead and switch it up a bit. What are some things that we can do to help ourselves or change this? Well, the first thing we can do, these are some simple ideas, is to set screen time limits. Try checking your phone at set times throughout the day instead of just constantly scrolling, hoping that you're going to find some new information, because it ain't going nowhere. It's going to be there. Even a short break can make you feel even more refreshed and more motivated. Number 2, another thing you can try is taking a digital detox, or a 10 to 15 minute break away from your screens and all these different things. And use that time to grab a snack, take a walk, or just sit quietly and give your brain what could feel like a mini vacation. The next and final thing you could do, which I like, is to reflect on your habits. Ask yourself, why am I picking up my phone right now? Is it because I need something important, or am I just bored? And being aware of your habits can help you make way better choices when it comes to understanding what's going on. And by pausing and reflecting, you're essentially refueling yourself by making sure you're not running on empty. So let's go ahead and see how we can craft a purpose-driven digital life. So imagine if your digital life worked for you instead of against you. And when you considered your inner motivations, you can use technology in a way that supports your goals and your well-being. And that's the goal. So maybe you have to set, daily time limits or take regular breaks, but the idea is to design your digital world so it makes you feel empowered and not drained. whether it's reducing your screen time, planning more time to hang out with people offline, or anything you do to take little steps to remain in control. Take control of your life online and offline. So in conclusion, to sum it up, we've already seen how digital gamification and those clever tricks that they put in these apps and these social media platforms can affect our moods, it can affect our behaviors, and that's why it's important to take a step to stop and refuel. Because the next time you better dive into some endless scrolling, you gotta pause and ask yourself, do I really need this extra minute online? Or am I just doing it just because? So if you found any of these ideas helpful, please hit that subscribe button for me. Go ahead and give this video a thumbs up and drop a comment about your own digital habits or tips for taking a break. Tips for taking a break. So thank y'all for watching once again. I know I'm in a different environment this time, but remember, a little pause can help you go a long way and stay in balance. So stay mindful, and I'll see y'all next time on Stop and Refuel.